Wouldn't it be wonderful if you were an airman? We could live at the Aerodrome. Oh, Roy.
Would you marry me then?
Like a shot. Oh, yes, yes.
I was 21 and more than friendly with Bess, the publican's daughter. I love you always.
Will you, Roy?
Above our village had been placed the Aerodrome, a mysterious, opulent and threatening place which we villagers were informed was vital to the defences of our country.
Crazy monkeys!
Get up! You never been 21. Don't fall on your arm. Come on, here we go. Give it a push. Push.
Yes, bless him.
Cut along the pair of you. I need time to think.
You certain?
Never more so. Much better now. Happy. Cheerio.
Okay, right. Come on.
I hadn't meant to celebrate by getting quite so drunk. Nor had I expected the dinner party at the rectory to end as it did. Our guests were the squire and his sister, and a recent acquaintance of mine, Mark, a flight lieutenant from the Aerodrome, who I rather admired.
Dear friends, before proposing Roy's health, I shall first, with your permission, make some observations at this celebration of our young friend's coming of age.
Yeah.
I do this in fulfillment of a resolution I have made with myself to give you, who are all close friends, some news, which, although it may surprise, need not, I trust, distress. 21 years ago today, a little stranger, a baby, came to this house. We gave him the name of Roy, and we have kept him with us ever since. This is indeed the very day when this tiny boy, now a fine young man, first came to us. But it is not, in fact, his birthday. It cannot be. The lady, whom he has called mother, and I, who have been proud to bear the name of father, are not, you see, his parents, however much we may love him as though we were. Nor can we say exactly when he was born.
This is monstrous. It makes no difference at all.
Are these the manners of the Aerodrome?
Sit!
Who am I then?
This small stranger, Roy, was found in a basket at the top of the village at about the place where the main road now is. At that time, the aerodrome and the dual carriageway were in the course of construction. A good woman, now the wife of our local publican, brought the baby to us, trusting to our charity. Of its parents, nothing was known.
Immaterial anyway.
This is quite important.
Mary, dear, thank you. Now, by a strange coincidence, a coinciding of events such as only Providence provides, my wife was returned that same evening from a 6-month stay abroad, whither she had been forced to go for the treatment of a serious ailment. We decided to bring up the child as our own. Roy, my dear fellow, I raise my glass to you. And though at truth's behest, I have had to inform you that we are not, in fact, your real parents, trust me, my boy, that you can rely on us as if we were indeed what you have called us. To Roy.
To Roy. Long life, health, and happiness.
God guard you, lad.
Although none of this, as we all know, is of the least importance, it is a fact, is it not, Rector, that for the last 21 years you've been telling lies.
Have the goodness to drink your friend's health, sir.
To Roy!
Who am I?
I was not who I thought I was, and the people and places I had found so familiar suddenly seemed changed. And when I had made my way back to the rectory, still more revelations were to come.
Lord God, here again, my son. Each year I've told it, and you've listened patiently. Oh, patient one, although my corruption is a river, and I am become a stench. When was the beginning of my treachery? When did I murder first? When? The shameful thought came to me on the manor lawn. We were playing croquet. I saw my friend's head laid close to my betrothed as he sought to show her the acute angle through the hoop. Thou knewest Antony's honest face, intellectual gifts, his courage and integrity. Small wonder he was preferred to me, gaining the offer of this living, this house, and she who is now my wife. Even though she had pledged her troth to me, you watched, as I did, their embrace. You, great dove, were in the moon. I at the corner of the veranda by the tobacco plants. You perceived the depths of my deceit, the nurtured hatred in my heart. You remember, as I do, that climbing holiday. You know the place, the peak, the foul weather. Through the clouds you saw me as I cut the rope. You saw Antony fall 4,000 feet. Dr. Faulkner, our great friend and mentor, recovered the body, and I wept as the coffin was lowered into the ground. It was only after I had received this living and married the lady who is now my wife that the veil and mist of my deliberate sin fell from me, and I began too late, oh hope of Jacob, to repent.
I'm sorry to disturb you, dear, but will you come to bed now? It's past 1 o'clock, Gerald.
Is it?
And we have the agricultural show tomorrow.
Oh.
I expect you got rather drunk, dear. You needn't believe your father.
He isn't my father. And I did.
Oh, well. Never mind. All's best, though we oft doubt. Sleep tight.
their rights? They've passed a law. What are we going to do, Florence?
If it's the law, then we have to obey it.
What? Get out? Let them march in? No, I'll burn the house down first, before they commandeer it.
So tiresome. Edmund's indisposed again.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Is there anything we can do?
If there were, my dear sister would have done it. My weak constitution always interferes with the pleasures of others.
I hope it wasn't occasioned by the Air Force. We saw a car. I'm ready. Shall we go?
Ah, well.
I wouldn't mind flying one of those.
Take price for ladies. Halfway for ladies. Hurry along now, 1 or 2 more.
I take it they asked your permission for all this?
Yes, but I hardly expected quite such a presence.
I was hoping to run up against you folks. I rather poodled the party last night, didn't I? Truth to tell, Padre, I was tight.
You're apologizing?
No, in vino veritas.
There with the dog.
No, you drink it for me, Mac.
I'll be free in a minute. No, look at the people. They also.
Be good, Roy. You too, Bess.
Oh, Roy, I love you.
I can't! Oh, Bess!
Sorry.
There. Did you hear that?
What?
Don't mind me. Sorry to butt in. What position did you use? Missionary or monkey on a stick?
Now look here, Mark.
Something rather rotten's happened.
What?
I've just potted your old man. Took it right in the face. Went over like a 9-pin. I'd been given to understand the gun was non-operational. Not so. I feel a bit cut up.
I must ask you to step along to the station, sir.
Nonsense, Constable. It was an accident. If you think you have a duty to perform, apply to the Aerodrome. So long, Roy. Sorry. Poor show, I admit.
Move along. An inquiry will be mounted through the proper channels. Come on, move along now.
Isn't it awful? Did you sleep in the end, dear?
Sort of.
We've had a letter from the Air Department. They say they're terribly sorry.
I should hope so.
They're going to send the Air Commander. He wants to say a few words at the funeral. We must offer him lunch at the very least.
A room at the Manor. Well, that is if he wants to stay the night.
What do you think, Roy? I feel the rectory would be more appropriate.
Given his rank, surely the Manor.
Oh, really?
Roy!
Well, it's a perfectly beastly letter. I can't think why you're so pleased by it. If it were down to me, I'd tell them to keep their ruddy Air Commander. Good Lord.
Getting rather late, don't you think, Florence?
I'm sure he'll be here on the dot.
We're here today to bury the man. His body is in that coffin, and his death was an accident. Death often is. So there's no need to feel dismayed by the fact that your rector's death was. He might just as well have been run over by a car or fallen off a precipice. We need feel no pity for him. As for his life, he himself knew best whether it was well or badly lived. If he has friends amongst you, let them reflect that the objects of affection are not immortal. If he has enemies, let them remember that hatred of individuals is invariably a waste of time and energy. The man is dead, his family is well provided for. That's all that need be said.
No, don't, Uncle Ralph.
Never in my born days have I heard such a lack of respect.
Brother Sergeant,
it's an insult in God's house. But let go of me. Take your hands off me. This is an outrage.
There is another matter of which I shall now speak. I made my preliminary remarks because they're customary. But you should know that what is common amongst you, sentimentality, mawkishness, and overpraise of others' virtues, especially the dead, is considered as improper by the Air Force. Now, I don't know whether you're aware of what is shortly to happen to this village. In brief, it's to be taken over by the Air Force. The property of your leading landowner, who is, I understand, too enfeebled to attend this occasion, and who gives you work at very low rates of pay, will be bought up by the government. We shall install an Air Force padre in place of your deceased rector. You'll be given work which in many cases will be different from what you've been in the habit of doing. Your pay will increase, provided you work hard. All this will be explained to you later. In the meantime, you should prepare yourselves for change. We, in the Air Force, view things very differently from those who used to dictate your ideas to you. Muddle, inefficiency, slackness, we simply do not tolerate. Well, that's enough for the present. Now, we shall bury the body. Quiet, please. Pallbearers.
Let us pray.
What are you going to do with your life, young man?
Civil service.
Why don't you join us? Mind you, we're choosy. We don't take anybody. Better conditions, more pay, discipline. You'll be challenged. Write to me, care of the Air Department. Now then, I believe we're joining this lady for luncheon.
I shan't be coming.
Roy.
I couldn't.
You'll grow up.
Imagine you doing that, Roy. Marv.
And fly a plane. Gosh. A new life. Sort of bury the past as we buried the rector. Why not? I mean, I'm free, really, aren't I? The rector wasn't my father. My mother isn't my mother, so I'm free. I'm 21.
Exactly.
Do you mind not knowing who I am?
But I do. You're Roy. My Roy.
Oh, you horrible turtle doves. My 27th jump. You feel like God.
We need your help, Mark.
Yours to command. What? Advice on birth control?
No.
Then what?
Well, the fact is, we want to get married.
What on earth for?
We just do. And Roy wants to join the Air Force.
Ah. That is quite a good idea. Get out of the village while the going's good. As for the marriage malarkey, I can fix it up for you.
You can?
Meet your new vicar.
You? No!
Just been promoted, if you can call it that. Cushy, really. Apart from the admin, I only have to sound off once a week. I can marry you tonight if you like.
But you have to be ordained.
Mine not to reason wild, son. Orders from on high.
What about the banns? And Bess isn't of age.
Special license. Air Force issue.
Right. Tomorrow, then. Yes.
Right. See you tomorrow. Must buzz. Give her one for me, Roy.
Oh, isn't he marvellous? This time you needn't hurry so, need you?
Don't you think it's shameful to gloat over it? After all, what harm did he ever do you?
My dear woman, you're unjust. I merely observe that those who are my enemies tend to die off whilst I survive them. You hardly expect me to feel distressed.
You do not speak of your friends.
Friends. They have a way of either denying or avoiding their obligations, haven't they?
What if one of them wished to make amends?
That is the thing I've never seen done.
Hello.
Roy, you must go to the manor at once. Sir Edmund is asking for you. Florence doubts he'll last the night.
Yes, I must be going soon, too. I may not see you again.
I've decided to join up, sir.
Roy.
Then I shall see you again.
Yes, sir.
Good.
It's all right. It's me. Huh? Roy. Shall I ring?
No. Something to tell you, boy. Your father...
Who? Do you mean the rector? No, you can't. Who? Who was he? Can you say?
Florence?
What? She can't be my mother, can she? Yes? Yes?
Florence was happy once. Yet I did everything to destroy her happiness. I thought I was acting for the best, but I wasn't. I feared only for the scandal.
He said your name.
Poor Edmund. You know, he's not so old.
Forgive me.
What came over me?
It must have hurt.
It did.
He tried to tell me something about my father.
Him?
And I declare you married.
Is that all?
Yep, abridged version. All denominations as authorized.
So short.
I don't feel married.
Well, you are, Ducky. Sign here. You first, Roy, there.
I thought we'd have to state who our parents were.
Don't we?
Not with us.
Just as well, really.
Right. Leave you to it.
Oh, no, do stay. I've got a bottle of champagne.
You drink it. In bed. Give you strength. Come on. I can't wait to get airborne. Happy landings.
Our secret home from home.
Mark was clever finding it for us.
Not really. It's always been here.
I know, but it is Air Force property now, strictly speaking. Oh, I do wish I felt more married.
You will.
says there are 48.
What?
Position's silly.
I don't like the way Mark talks about love, actually.
He doesn't call it love.
No. To him, it's all sexual.
Well, sort of both, really, isn't it?
Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Your address today was little short of blasphemous.
An alternative exegesis.
I shall not attend your church again.
Why do they always have to have manoeuvres on a Sunday? To desecrate our feelings, of course. When do you move out? Next week. Are you sure it won't be too much for you, my coming to you? Oh, we'll manage. They say it's going to be a sort of area HQ selection place. The rectory.
Mother's against you, Roy. When I go home, she keeps on and on about you.
You haven't told her we're married, have you?
No, of course not.
Well?
She as good as said I'm to keep away from you.
Why?
I don't know.
Right. I'm going to have it out with her. I can't be. I can't be.
You are, dear. Your father was very wrong to disown you. He'd do anything to shield his Mary from blame.
How could he say he wasn't my father when he was? Why should he?
I've said, dear, I've said. If the story had got out, it would have been the end of him as rector.
Oh, it's all so rotten.
I know. After all, you and Bess have only been courting, haven't you?
We call this looping the loop.
Bess!
Your call-up papers. You report for duty tomorrow, 0900 hours. Caught in flagrante, as they say. Most delicto, too.
Delicto.
Never was too hot on Latin. All's fair, you know.
You come back here!
Missed your moment, old son.
Ah! My God!
When did this start?
Why do you want to know?
Why? Oh, Bess.
It's all right. I've done wrong, but I couldn't help it. And I don't mind.
You never really loved me at all.
I did. I still do. But with him, it's so different. Oh, I can't explain. He says we're better adapted to each other, physically. I never meant to do harm. Truly.
Why did you marry me if all the time you were in love with someone else?
Oh, Roy, it wasn't like that. I did love you. It was just, well, I loved him too, and I didn't know who I loved the best, so I thought I'd be nice to both of you. I hadn't had enough experience, you see. But after all, you've only got one life to live.
You're talking just like him.
I'm not.
You are. I suppose by now you've decided which one it is you really love.
Him. He isn't such a good person as you. But he's more exciting.
Dear God.
He talked me into it. He's so certain somehow, and he's travelled so much and done so many different things. And, well, he's an officer, isn't he? Oh, I won't ever be able to explain.
It won't matter anyway. Not anymore.
You don't really mind after all?
I'm your brother.
You can't be.
That's what I said when your mother told me.
Brother and sister. Us.
Well, half-brother anyway.
She says the rector made love to my mother before they were married. My mother then went abroad. Your mother went with her to act as my nanny. When I was 5 months old, they brought me back and pretended I was a foundling. Your mother was part of the secret. She stayed on at the rectory. My father seduced her. So you see, he sired both of us. Me on Mary, you on Eva.
You make it sound like a horse.
I don't find it funny.
Neither do I. Oh, Roy.
Your mother married Walter at the pub for respectability's sake. People are really filthy, aren't they?
You mean me?
Yes. And my parents, and yours, all vile. Vile.
Oh, Roy, what are we gonna do?
Do what you like.
Stand easy. I do not congratulate you, gentlemen. You have performed in training precisely as your initial assessments indicated. You have learned that the Air Force exists to destroy the enemy. Why? In order to defend our way of life. But what if our way of life isn't worth defending? Let me be frank, gentlemen, it isn't. So, a second duty calls us to transform it. The process has begun. Some of you may remember a village below this aerodrome. It can serve as an example. Conditions were feudal. Degenerate paternalism,
based on an old-fashioned and outmoded religious faith, ruled with lax complacency. The people were slaves, inefficiently performing unnecessary tasks. All that has changed under the Air Force. But in our cities, worse still exists. Only we have the necessary discipline to save our country. When you reported for training, you were forbidden to correspond or communicate with your parents. You still are. Parents are the past, and the past is bondage. No airman lives in the past. Despise it, nor in the future. Disregard it. The bondage of the future is equally unacceptable if you are to be what we require. Shapers of destiny, gentlemen. A new and more adequate race of men. There are two kinds of future bondage. One, material possessions, which are invariably compensations for inadequacy in the person desiring them. And children. None of us is averse to pleasure. Consequently, sexual intercourse we encourage, but it must not result in children. Our rules are distinct. No airman shall acknowledge his child in the event that the woman refuses to abort. We have the facilities here. The sex, gentlemen, like anything else, when once understood, can be handled easily, naturally, and satisfactorily. But you must remember that it is not your business as members of the Air Force to attach yourselves in any permanent sense to a woman. The thing is neither possible nor desirable. You may roger them, gentlemen, but you may not love them. As airmen, your conduct off duty may, and indeed should, appear wholly irresponsible. You are poised between two annihilations, gentlemen. Birth and death. Warriors of the sky, you will engage in single combat. You, the enemy. Do not expect to live long. Master the present only. Power equals freedom.
Useful hijinks.
No! Just wait for the women.
Wonderful.
Oh, it's not on. What? Mark. Mooning after our chief boffin's wife. Eustasia. She's quite a role. Mark was never A1 as a pilot. That's why they grounded him.
Things have changed. What's your problem? Too much self-abuse?
No. I just feel rather different these days.
You're not in love with R.W.'s wife, are you?
She's a remarkable person.
Contrary to regulations, old son.
Mark, I insist you introduce us.
Of course. I was insisting too.
Then?
Eustasia, this is Roy Eustasia.
I've heard about you from R.W. He says you're very promising. Mark, dear, I've run out of cigarettes. Fancy that.
Oh, right. Yes. I'll get some, of course.
Good boy. He's better than a spaniel, though without those pretty ears.
He appears to be in love with you. Do you like being married to R.W.?
As long as I can get my young men. He seemed quite acceptable.
The perfect place.
I'm glad it's a full moon.
I watched an old man die in this room.
Who?
Irrelevant. As he died, he bit the hand of the woman who'd sacrificed her life to his.
Then she deserved it. So thoughtful. Mark. I do love a cigarette. Afterwards.
Often Eustasia would speak to me about love, and I would listen with interest and perplexity and sometimes with amusement. She had never been faithful for long to any one person, and yet her love affairs filled by far the most important place in her life. She would speak about her former lovers with affection, with amusement, and with a kind of gratitude. It did not seem strange to her, far less disgraceful, that she should have deserted them all. Indeed, she wouldn't have admitted that this was the case. For long after any one of them had parted company with her, she took a keen interest in his doings and on the whole retained his friendship. I would often find myself smiling when she made it clear in our conversations that in comparison with her own sexual life, she regarded even the Aerodrome and its organization as a thing of quite secondary importance.
representing us at the area final. Pity we can't enter your husband's latest efforts, huh?
That would hardly be fair, would it?
Without RW's continual research, we'd still be in the prop-driven past. And these new variants outperform anybody, wouldn't you say, RW?
Oh, they know a trick or two.
I should say they do.
Control. We've got 2,000 in production.
You hesitate?
No, sir. Honored, sir.
This is a unique appointment. As my ADC, you will have access to the highest, most sensitive information.
Yes, sir.
Trust must be absolute. Follow me.
You must remember at all times what your duty is. And what is more than your duty, what is the whole purpose of our life.
Which is, sir?
To exercise control. Yes. To be freed from time, Roy. From the past and the future. From shapelessness. Sit yourself down. Now, I want you to study this. And I want you to stay here until I return. Understood?
As I began to understand the elaboration and grandeur of the Air Commander's plans, I realized that we were already equipped to take over the direction of the country whose servants nominally we were. The Air Commander was at the center of a vast organization, and only he could exercise complete and unquestioned control over others who without him would have disputed among themselves for preeminence. It was not long before I became aware that I was being entrusted with secrets that were not shared even with the highest of officials, and my surprise at being selected for such a post was equaled by my determination to show myself worthy. I worked day after day and late into the night, keeping always at the forefront of my mind the aim and certainty of our conspiracy. We seemed to be an organization manifestly entitled by its own discipline, efficiency, and will to assume supreme power. Outside of the Air Force, I could see nothing that was not incompetent or corrupt.
Don't get up! Don't speak. Just refresh the inner man, Roy.
I'm bloody well going to put a stop to that! Fred, no! Hey, you! Leave her alone! Did I say take a breather? Did I? It's my sister and they were mucking her about. Did I? But I didn't...
I think your new job made you to a sphinx, my darling.
Well, virtually everything I do is classified.
You certainly look very classy. One day I'm going to tell you a secret.
What?
No. I can be discreet too.
Did I say you could take a breather? Well, did I?
No, Roy. The very fact that the murderers of Provost Sergeant Peters are still at large must in itself be an encouragement to disaffection.
The curfew continues, sir.
Oh, absolutely. And these secret meetings, anything further to report there?
Well, they definitely centre on the squire's sister and the late rector's wife.
And our padre continues to attend?
Invariably. They either meet at their cottage under the guise of a sewing circle or fruit bottling, or in the vestry for so-called Bible commentary.
Unhealthy.
Yes, sir, but a few old women gossiping.
Dissident discussion can never be dismissed.
No, sir. Quite so.
Sir, our sky pilot. Oh, he must be reminded what his duty is. I can't think what's come over him. Oh, he was never brilliant, but his loyalty's never been in question. I remember quite well.
Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war. With the cross of Jesus, going on
Blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek, blessed are the peacemakers. We read in the Bible, the peace which surpasseth all understanding, a peace which the world cannot give. How is it that we today do not know this peace? Did we ever have it? What was it exactly? When? How was it lost? Perhaps you know better than I. Do you? It seems to me, and I shall say it, I must, that you were much better off so far as the things of real value are concerned in the time before your village was occupied by the Air Force.
This service is at an end. The church is closed until further notice. You, sir, are under arrest. Come down immediately.
Throw him out. Make an end of the lot of them. We can do it.
Silence. The next person to leave his pew will be shot. You, come down. Go to the vestry and report to me correctly dressed.
I refuse to.
No! Oh, no! You leave my son alone! Listen, all of you! That man!
Get yourself a drink at the club. I shall go back alone. This hasn't been pleasant for me either.
Best, dear. She's in a terrible way. He wouldn't know her. She's gentle and quiet as can be, but she's not herself. As if she wasn't there. She seems to have something on her conscience. Oh, Roy. She says she wants to die.
Has she seen a doctor?
Times, yes.
Well, I know a better one, at the Aerodrome, Dr. Faulkner. As well as being medically qualified, he's also a psychiatrist. I'll talk to him.
Oh, that would be kind.
Kind?
Or are you still in love with her? Is that it? I'm certainly not in love with you.
You know nothing about Bess.
I've heard enough. From you.
Then you know that she's my sister, don't you?
You always said you didn't really believe that.
Well, anyway, I can't stay. I've got to find Faulkner.
Roy! I'm going to have a baby. Yours. Yours, Roy.
Is that your precious secret?
Yes.
But we're not allowed to.
That's all the Air Force knows about it.
According to regulations, you should have had an abortion.
I have refused.
Then I'll have to disown you.
But...
And the child.
But you can't. We'll have to leave the aerodrome. I've always wanted to.
I can't leave. You'll have to go alone.
Then you've never loved me at all.
Love covers a lot. I did love you. I still do.
Liar. For me, it's grown and grown. For you, it never did increase. You don't know what love is. Yes, perhaps you're in love with that mad girl. I would do anything for you.
I understand now.
It'll take weeks before she's fully recovered, of course, but she will. All that was required was to convince her that her relationship with you was an innocent one.
You lied to her.
No. Please don't visit her again. It would be a tragedy if the strong associations of the past were to rekindle your affections.
So you're saying we definitely aren't brother and sister?
Yes, and I told Bess the secret so that she thinks she knows something that you don't.
But why?
To nourish her self-esteem, Roy.
So you know who my parents were?
Of course. As an Evan, that's of no interest to you, is it? It matters to Bess, but it mustn't to you.
Hello, sir.
They've let you out?
One last chance.
Yes, I remember the chief saying.
Shan't miss corrective training. How's Eustasia?
Blossoming.
Good.
Must buzz. Been up all night.
Rumour has it there's a big show coming up.
Idle talk. Cheerio.
I've been so worried, dear, these last weeks, since Florence died.
Yes, I've been rather puzzled myself.
I've been trying to post this letter to Mark. Could you? Is he all right?
I think so.
Good. He's still attached to the aerodrome, though. I know you're doing terribly well, dear. And I always wanted you to do well. But now, after Florence, can you understand, dear?
What did Florence mean when she called Mark her son?
It was true. He is her son. But he only found out recently. He was educated abroad, you see.
He's illegitimate, like me.
Well, yes. It was the one quarrel Florence had with her brother. He refused to have the child at the manor. He knew the father, and wished, I think, to protect his sister from scandal. Florence never really forgave him, I'm afraid.
Did you know the father?
No, not really.
And me? Mother?
You mustn't. It's dangerous.
I know, but all the same.
In the Air Force, you're not meant to have parents, are you? Mark told me. And it was only a chance remark of his that made Florence realize. And that was after he'd become unhappy with his life at the aerodrome. And look what's happened to him. So don't ask, Roy. Please, please.
All right.
Bess is very much better. Have you come to see her?
No. I would like to, but, well, Dr. Faulkner advised against it.
Faulkner?
He's our chief medical officer, a great friend of the air commander.
Bess would be very pleased to see you.
Now it's our shared secret, isn't it? We're not brother and sister.
Don't let's have any old secrets anymore.
We must. I'm still in the Air Force.
Still, you mean...
Shh. It's enough that we're here.
You could kiss me. If you wanted to.
You were right to tell me, Roy. I know the lady in question very well. Indeed, some years ago, I was intimate with her myself. You will, of course, ensure that the child is not born.
I can't do that, sir. I've already caused her enough pain.
Pain is neither here nor there. You're mad. Do you want to have this child?
Eustasia does. I have no right to forbid that.
I will give you exactly 3 hours. When you report back to me, you will have implemented the correct decision. Do I make myself clear? I still have confidence in you, Roy. And to demonstrate that fact, I will tell you that the day for which we've all been preparing so arduously is now very close at hand.
Chief on the phone. I understand you've got yourself in a pickle.
Enlisted your support, has he?
Naturally.
I've made up my mind. Eustasia must have the child. I'm resigning from the Air Force because I can no longer accept what it stands for, nor what it intends. It's a denial of life. Deadly. Death. I don't care what happens to me.
Now, hold on, son. Say such things, you could be shot.
So be it.
Now, look, I'd like to help you. I would if I could, but...
Can't, can you?
My dear, we both hope that you will benefit from our escape. You must disown us completely. I've put your career at terrible risk, and if I were to stay, it would be worse. This isn't a love affair. We are just anxious to escape. Mark is very good to me. Kindness itself. The Air Commander is very fond of you. It will be easy for you to pretend that the child isn't yours. Deny us, I beg you, with all your strength. I want you to. I kiss you. Eustasia.
He's killed them. Both of them.
Killed who?
Eustasia, Mark. They tried to escape.
Oh. Dear, dear. Excuse me. Yes? Who? Well, hold on a minute. Now, Roy, I admit this is serious. Very serious indeed.
It was murder.
Don't be a fool. Can't you see he did it for you? The chief saved you from yourself. Don't you see? Things aren't always black and white.
Oh, you're wrong. Wrong.
So,
tell the lady I'll meet her at the guardhouse.
Good.
Did you order them to be killed?
In the ordinary course of events, the death of a woman and of a deserter will be a matter of complete indifference to me. In this instance, old associations made my duty less than pleasant. But I'm glad, at least, that you have profited thereby. I can understand your feelings, and I can assure you that they will soon pass. Oh, Roy, how treacherous, how undependable the heart is. Any action that isn't guided by our will betrays us. What you feel is natural, but it is weakness. Put it aside. Think of what lies before us, and of what your own success will surely be.
I hate the success I have had here, and I look forward to no more of it. It has destroyed my friends, and it will destroy me.
If those are your real feelings, you've succeeded very well in deceiving me. You surely do not believe that I shall allow you, knowing what you do, to remain alive. Think carefully. Your life depends on the conclusion you reach in the next half minute. I wouldn't give this opportunity to anybody but you. Exercise your will, boy. Sorry, Anthony. Anthony? Must stop this if I can. No.
No, Anthony, no. You must hear me first.
No. We are leaving immediately.
Listen, you've already killed one of your sons. I'm determined to save the other. My son as well as yours.
Him. I knew it.
I'd never have married Gerald if I'd not been certain that you were dead. And if he hadn't consented out of his goodness to be the father of your child.
His goodness? Oh.
Your deceit was the cause. His too. How could I have known? When he faked your death certificate in your funeral. So you returned, miraculously, to reproach me, and then at once made love to Florence. And then you left her too. And you took her child away from her. Even then, for years I thought of you as my lover, and thought well of you. While you lived on your hatred and your pride.
Listen, Roy.
No, you listen to me, Roy. Killed Florence with his own hand. Ordered the murder of Mark, his son and hers. Now he has no further use for me or you.
Roy, I beg you. Yes, I do. Consider the record of crimes, hypocrisy, and irresolution in this woman's family. Whilst affianced to my best friend, she falls in love with me. I impregnate her. You. Her fiancé, now ordained, tries to murder me. He never realizes he's failed, nor do I disillusion him. Consequently, his life disintegrates in futile remorse. This woman, however, has married him before I can return to claim her. She doesn't love her husband, she loves me. But I have no further use for her. Finally, he's shot, none too soon, by another son of mine, Mark, whose mother, Florence, a sepulchre of unfulfilled desire, cloaked by convention, ultimately forces me, in pursuance of my duty, to put her to death. What a record of confusion, deception, rankling hatred, low aims, indecision. One is stained by any contact with such people. peacefully now. Now you can see why I urge you to be free of this.
Why? Why must these crimes and cruelties continue? You have the power to end them.
These crimes and cruelties, as you call them, are necessary so that the world may be clean. We must be off, right?
No, I can't. You've divided the world in two, Father. Although I know it's a false division, even so I'm obliged to choose. I cannot come with you.
Guards? I shall deal with you later. Take them away. To escape from time and bondage, to construct something that's guided by your will, not forced upon you by past accidents. Something of clarity, independence, beauty.
Southeast sector departure on 149.92, smoking 100.
Mark's bomb had destroyed the new order, resting as it did upon the desperate will of one man, and the old order could never be restored. Whenever I recall that time of glamour and catastrophe, I pass to a pleasanter recollection of the days of my second marriage to Bess. She and I were happy as we had never been. She was healthy once more, and I'd recovered a desire to see the world as it really is. We talked of our fathers, and it seemed to us that the circle of sin might be broken, and that we might live to avoid murder and deception. That the world may be clean. I remembered my father's words. Clean indeed it was, and most intricate, fiercer than tigers, wonderful, and infinitely forgiving.